Hello and welcome to The Current. There are 33 days until Election Day. I'm Cole Sullivan.
And I'm Hannah Vega. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will be taking the stage at Washington University in St. Louis this Sunday for their second debate. Now let's get you caught up on the latest headlines from across the campaign trail. Both candidates today are reacting to Hurricane Matthew, which is due to hit the critical battleground state of Florida. Both Clinton and Trump are moving away, campaign staff away from the area and have closed their offices and have canceled events. Secretary Clinton was criticized for planning to buy ad time on the Weather Channel. The Clinton campaign has since said that they will postpone the ad buy. Ted Cruz seems to have completely forgiven Donald Trump for his attacks during the Republican primary. He was phone banking for Trump in Tennessee today, urging people to go out and vote.
This is Ted Cruz calling. I was calling to encourage you to come out and vote on Election Day. This election is critical for the direction of our country, and I urge you to come out and support freedom, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights.
Many people on social media began pointing out the fact that Cruz didn't look too happy in the video. The sad Ted Cruz meme was quickly shared around the internet. California Attorney General Kamala Harris today won the endorsements of Senators Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein in the U.S. Senate race. Harris is running against Loretta Sanchez to fill Boxer's seat after she retires. The two senators joined a list of other Democrats supporting Harris. The election has dominated the media headlines in the United States for more than a year. Now we're going to turn to Erica Lee, who has more. She talked to students across the globe, just kind of feeling their perspective of the situation, what they think of Trump and Clinton.
Thanks, Hannah. We reached out to several USC students studying abroad as well as students from other countries to see how people around the world are looking at the election.
People just think Americans are really, they don't know how Americans have allowed this to happen.
The Londoners that I've talked to about our election are definitely both, intrigued and also amused by it.
Because at the beginning it was like a joke, like there's someone rich who wants to be the president, and now it's a real possibility, so there's a lot of people that want to know more about him.
When I walk near the underground, there's always newspapers on the headline. Many times it reads Clinton said this, Trump said that. Most of them tend to criticize Trump a lot.
But when I do hear about it, it's how is this even happening?
They advocate more towards Hillary Clinton as opposed to Donald Trump because they believe that Donald Trump is very volatile, very indecisive, and that they feel that Hillary Clinton will be more suitable in terms of keeping that Democratic alliance between Seoul and Washington, D.C.
Here in Spain, I'd say that they love Obama, and it's they're sad that he's not being the president anymore.
Every student we spoke to said the American election is a big topic of conversation in the country where they are studying.
So while the election has been making headlines around the world, one of the headlining candidates here at home in the primary was Bernie Sanders. And it's been about 3 months since Senator Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton for president, but we wanted to check back in with some of the people who were his most fervent supporters before the Democratic National Convention. Joining me now, Ben Hiller, Ryan Lopez, and Zeke Sandoval. Thank you guys all for being here. Zeke, my first question is, why did you support Bernie Sanders in the first place?
I supported Bernie because I thought that he, out of all candidates, really wanted to change the culture of citizen engagement in America. I didn't see in any other candidate people who wanted everyday American people to be involved every day at every level with the government.
And so, Ryan, the question to you, why did you support Senator Sanders?
Quite similarly, the main reason I supported Senator Sanders was due to a lot of his policies and a lot of the belief system that he held, which really resonated a lot with me.
So what are some of the specifics? Yeah, what are some of the specifics?
So some of the specifics were a single-payer healthcare system, a tuition-free public college and university, as well as a big stance on the environment, expanding solar power, wind power, geothermal, all those. In particular, as an aspiring educator, what really hit home for me was tuition-free public college and university for our future generations to ensure that we do have the best educated generation that we can.
So Senator Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Who are you supporting this election, if anyone?
So personally, at the moment, I am focusing a lot more of my energy on the down-ballot issues. We have a lot of down-ballot issues that even though a lot of millennials are feeling apathetic about the fact that Senator Sanders isn't running anymore, that we still need them to come out and vote. There are a lot of important issues. Personally, I'm a huge proponent of Measure M here in Los Angeles County to expand rail and public transit. But in terms of presidential candidates, right now, personally, I'm giving everyone a chance to convince me while checking my facts and sources, of course.
So we're only 32 days from the election.
Right.
Time's coming short.
Absolutely.
Are you leaning any direction at this point?
At the moment, it appears that Dr. Jill Stein of the Green Party is going to get my vote. But again, I'm giving everyone the chance to convince me. But at the moment, it's looking like Dr. Jill Stein has my vote.
So Ben, what about you? Are you supporting someone in this general election now that Senator Sanders is out of the race?
Yeah, so my home state is actually North Carolina, so I still have to decide whether I'm going to vote in North Carolina or in California. North Carolina is actually a legitimately battleground state. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are neck to neck. If I decide to vote in North Carolina, I think I'm going to have to vote for Hillary Clinton for that reason. But if I vote for California, there's a lot of referenda on the ballot that, like Ryan said, are very important, a lot of local measures. If I decide to vote in California, then probably Jill Stein will be getting my vote.
So I want to ask you that question about, because a lot of people are supporting these third-party candidates, and they're
Sure.
getting a lot of criticism for it too,
Sure.
for saying that a vote for a third-party candidate is essentially a vote against Hillary or against Trump, a lot of times against Hillary. What do you say to those people?
Well, it really depends what state you're in. I mean, first of all, it doesn't make sense to say that a third-party vote is a vote against one candidate or the other. It's a vote for that candidate, right? At best, it's half a vote for another candidate, but that doesn't really make sense either. And I think that kind of attitude is very cynical and very bleak, and disempowers the average American a lot, right? And encourages them not to vote and not to exercise participate in democracy. And instead of expending their energy on convincing Bernie Sanders supporters to move to the right, I would argue that Hillary Clinton supporters should use their energy spending to push Hillary Clinton to the left.
So Ryan, the question to you, do you think Hillary Clinton has adopted some of the ideas that Senator Sanders put forward in the debate?
I'd have to say that as a delegate to the Democratic National Convention representing California's 37th Congressional District, I definitely did see a lot of Hillary Clinton supporters and Hillary herself talk a lot about Bernie Sanders' policies and wanting to implement them. At the same time, though, I personally see that as all talk. Hillary Clinton has a record of going back on her word, especially when it comes to a lot of progressive issues. For example, when she was opposed to gay marriage up until about 2013. And although I'm very glad that she's on the right side of history now, I saw that more as a political move and not really a authentic endorsement. And so for me it's more of a situation of Hillary's more all talk and not really action. So although we hear from her that she might adopt some of Bernie's policies, at the end of the day I don't see that happening.
So Zeke, same question to you. Who are you supporting, and do you think Hillary has adopted enough of Senator Sanders' policies?
Yeah, so I'm fervently and ardently supporting Hillary Clinton in the general election. And I think that it's inarguable at this point that she has adopted a lot of Bernie Sanders' positions, if not maybe exact policies. But I think, in contrast to what Ryan was saying, I absolutely have faith that she will carry out a lot of those policies. Maybe not in the way that we would like to see them, but this is how politics works. It's a game of compromise. You give some and you have to take some back. I think, to use the example of the college tuition, Bernie had this great plan of everyone is covered. Everyone gets free public tuition to any public college, which is a great plan, but Hillary's in this case now has turned to tuition based on needs. So
debt-free college.
Exactly. Debt-free college is exactly, thank you, is the term that she's been using. So the idea that, and I think that she's even used this example, if you are Barron Trump, you don't get to go to college for free.
Right.
You have to pay your fair share. But if you grew up in a neighborhood where you don't have the kind of resources, you don't have to pay enough to get you into debt, right? The government will cover the rest of it. I think that's a lot smarter. I think it's a lot more equitable. And I think just in terms of looking at the finances, I loved the plan, but it would have cost trillions of dollars.
So you say Hillary Clinton's plan makes more sense. Thank you guys all for coming in so much, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions for these three gentlemen, or questions or comments of your own, be sure to comment them on our Facebook Live post. Hannah, back to you.
There are 17 propositions on California's ballot, so keeping track of them isn't easy. I wanted to put USC students to the test to see if they could separate fake propositions from the real ones.
3 out of 6 of these are actually going to be on the ballot November 8th.
2 of the 3 I already know for sure.
I know this one is.
I think I read about this one.
This one should be. I hope this one is too.
This one already got done.
This one is wrong, and it's actually this one. It didn't pass.
Oh.
You have 2 out of 3 correct.
this one is actually incorrect. So it's gonna be this one. You got them all wrong.
I got them all wrong. Yeah.
You have one correct.
Which one is it?
Legalization of marijuana is correct.
Oh my god, I should have known this would have been something so stupid. Okay, 2 out of 3, not bad, huh?
I'll go with that. Why not?
You're our first 3 out of 3. You knew all of them. Proposition 64 would legalize recreational marijuana for people over 21. Proposition 60 would require porn stars to wear condoms during scenes with sexual intercourse, and Proposition 57 would allow inmates serving time for nonviolent crimes to earn credits to shorten their sentence. It would also require a judge to confirm that a juvenile should be tried in an adult court if a prosecutor recommends it. 4 other states also have ballot measures that this November that would legalize recreational marijuana.
And Proposition 64 is that ballot measure here in California. It would legalize marijuana use for all adults over the age of 21. But already, even before Election Day, some entrepreneurs are finding creative ways to serve their high-class clienteles. Here's the story of one chef who's helping his clients eat their greens. High above Wilshire Boulevard and the Miracle Mile, Chris Sage is making a mushroom risotto. He's a first-rate chef trained in Michelin-star restaurants in LA and New York.
Stuffed grape leaves and rigatoni are my top 2 favorite dishes. But now I've gone and elevated those into another stratosphere.
Another stratosphere because of an added ingredient. Marijuana.
I say that I'm food-centric with an accent of cannabis.
Sage is a cannabis entrepreneur cooking gourmet dinners up to $500 per person for a 10-course meal of THC.
When they're getting the munchies, I'm going to give them stuff on the heavier side. When they don't have the munchies, I'm going to give them stuff on the lighter side.
Every dinner is different, designed with the tastes of the patient in mind. And to make sure no one gets too much weed, Sage hands out a tolerance questionnaire before the meal.
Get a nuance rather than, where you're in the corner, cuddled up and you're freaking out.
He aims to create a cerebral experience for his guests with sensory rooms, spectacular views, and even soulful music.
At the end of the dinner, they can sit back and say, holy crap, what just went on? And that's what I want.
Sage isn't the only businessman looking forward to the possibility of legalization this November. Owners of dispensaries like this one could also cash in big time if Proposition 64 passes.
I view it huge as for the whole industry.
Jason Beck is president of a West Hollywood dispensary. He expects sales numbers to reach, new highs if the measure passes.
In Colorado, they increased their sales by close to 100% on the first day. And so I would anticipate in a market like LA, I think that could be anywhere from 200 to 500 times.
And with the referendum polling at nearly 60%, Beck, Sage, and other cannabis entrepreneurs are at the forefront of a marijuana revolution.
Really, it's become this giant experiment that I get to personally be involved with and be one of the pioneers in.
But until voters can officially cast their ballots, Sage plans to keep on cooking. Now, Hannah, it's important to note that there are those who are against Proposition 64. One of them is USC health policy professor Joel Hay. He says the legalization would lead to an increase in car accidents and addiction costs.
Well, I know a lot of students on campus really support this bill, as do a lot of other people that are around college age in particular. But when I was asking people for my video, which propositions are on the bill, that was the one that almost every single person
Really,
chose.
everyone knew marijuana. Proposition 64 is on the ballot. And like I said in the piece, it has over 60% support. It looks likely to pass. Pretty much everyone says at this point it's inevitable that in the next 2 years we'll have legalized marijuana here in California.
Well, in other California news, most would expect to see people doing the popular dance move, the dab, on the football field after a touchdown or at a party. And one of the last places you would expect someone to see is a political debate. But that's what some people say they saw from Loretta Sanchez, a candidate for California Senate, during her debate last night against Kamala Harris. Does that mean it's not cool to dab anymore? We asked students.
Let's see, a dab. I feel like it kind of shows a bit of chillness.
I mean, I guess if the situation was appropriate in some way, then I'm glad she had fun with her debate.
I think it's pretty cool still. Yeah, it's it would make me want to vote for them.
I don't know how I really feel about my politicians partaking in the dab fad.
I think it lowers the chances a lot, makes them look really unprofessional to me.
They need to be careful to like also talk about policies and not just make it about random social culture stuff.
I would not say it helps your chances. I would say if anything it actually hurts your chances.
I think there are a lot of different ways to relate to millennials besides dabbing.
Let's go. Hey.
Cam Newton may have made the dab popular, but Loretta Sanchez may have just made dabbing or did a dab in the most unusual places. What do you think about that?
I watched the video of her actually doing that, and it just made my mouth fall open. She's in a Senate debate to be the next senator from the state of California, and she's dabbing at the end of the
But
film.
some would argue it makes her seem like a more likable and approachable candidate. And I mean,
definitely
that's
made headlines. It
when you
definitely got
have
her name
two
out there,
Dems
too.
running in a Senate race for the same seat, and not much differentiates them. So
It definitely made their name out there. So Hannah, at the end of our broadcast, are you going to dab just the way Loretta did? Maybe a pass. We'll take a pass.
I'll
on that.
pass. I'll just wear my Cam Newton shirt where he is dabbing.
So next time, you'll have to tune in next time. Thanks for watching The Current for now. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Cole Sullivan.
And I'm Hannah Vega. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com or on our Facebook page. Good night.
See ya.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if